Hello. Alright, so today we will learn how to create an API in a very short amount of time. Alright, so for this we'll be needing two measure models, Flask. So if I go to here, I wrote a small script for you to install the model. So you have the Flask and the Flask Restful. So you need to run this. If you're using the Linux, you have to run this with sudo access. Alright, or if you're on Windows, then you can run the other one. Alright. Now that's sorted, let's jump into this. Right? Hopefully you already know what Flask is, so I don't want to be explaining that too much. So it's basically a Python model that helps you get up and running with web development with very few short lines of code. Alright, let's jump into this. So now, first we need to import our Flask. From Flask, import Flask, and also we need a request as well to handle our requests, and we also need Flask Restful. From Flask Restful, we're going to be needing to import resource, and we also need API. Alright, now that is done, we need to create our app instance, which will be a Flask, and then it will take a parameter which is name. Alright, this is just basically to tell so that Flask knows where to get your modules and that. Right now, we also need to create an API instance of the API. We'll call it API, and then it will take a parameter which is going to be our app. All right. Now, what do we exactly want to do? We want to create functions. We want to create classes that will handle each of our endpoints. All right. The structure will be like this. So if I create a class, first class, let's call this home page. Right, and it will basically each of the class will inherit from resource, right? And then this, let's just pass this for now, and then we create another class, right? And then let's just call this times 5, right? So let's say this class will basically handle multiplying by 5, right? So we call this class letter, and the last class we'll be creating will be multiplying two numbers, right? So we are multiplying two numbers, and then it will also inherit from the resource module. Alright, and we pass this as well. I can spell multiply. Alright, so this will be our classes. This will be our three classes that we'll be creating, and then so each of these classes, right, will be added to our API instance as a resource. So it will be API dot add resource, and the resource will be obviously first is the home page, and we have to tell it where's the endpoint that it needs to go to when it sees the home page, and the endpoint will be our slash, right? Sorry about that. And then also we need to add each of them. Also add the resource for times 5. And you need to tell it where it needs to go, where the user needs to go for you to access a particular module. It needs to go to times 5, and then we want the user to give us a number which will multiply by 5. Alright? So that's basically what that function will do. And then we need to, whatever number, so since we want a number, what we will send to us, it will be a string, and we have to convert that string to number. So we have to int that. And what is the name of the variable? Let's call that num, and that's about that. And then finally, we need to add the last resource, which will be our multiply, and then the endpoint where we need that to go will be in our slash multiply, and then we will just call this a test, right? You don't need to. So this can either be a float, string, or by default is a string. So it can either be also integer, float, right? So now this is all defined, right? The next thing we need to do is obviously basically expand these classes. So each of these classes can either have a get or a post request, right? So in the first one, let's make it have both. So this will be a static method, and then have to define the get, right? get path, and then we also have a post, right? So this has a post and in the path. This is gonna be a static method. Alright. In our get method, basically what we want you to do is basically return return some data that tells us the home page. So since we are only be returning for this API, we're returning JSON objects. So we have to format it as a dictionary. So say about, and then we are returning hello world or something. Alright. So that's for that. The get request is done. Now, in our post request, so the user or the client will send a post, and we have to get the post and basically do whatever I want to do to it. Well, right now, since this is the basic, we're not going to be doing anything to it. We just get the post and then send it back to the user. So if we receive the sent data from the user, and we have to use our request module, which is this one, right? Use the request, and then dot, we have to get the JSON object. So we are requiring a JSON object from the user. Once we get the JSON object, we just basically want to return it back to the user as well. So you have to say send data is equal to whatever send data that the user gives to us, right? So you can also put a response code, right? So you say response 201, right? Now this is done. The next one here, we can also have our static method, and then so as I said, each of these can have a post or a get method. So here we can only have just a get method, right? So we define a function, a get function, right? So in our get function, we just be returning. It will take actually a number actually. So we set here to take a number, and then to take it to basically return a result, and the result will just basically be number multiplied by 5. Alright? Straight and simple. Alright, what I will do is just copy this one as well, and then paste that here. So now this one will be taking not a number but a test. Alright? Because we told it to take test, so it will take test. Now what we need to do to this test is basically format it. So we can say the data that the user gives to us will now be our test dot strip. So basically we want the format of this test to be something like 5, 5, which will be 5 times 5, or 7, 8, which will be 7 times 8. Alright, so once we get that, we strip that, and we also split that by comma, and once we get that, we store it in our data, or actually let's check this norms, and then what we could do is we have to int that, we have to int our norms. The first norm we int that, norms we int that, if I can type, right? That's the first one, and then we have to multiply that by the second norms, and then here we have it. Alright, so that will return the multiplication of two numbers. So this will give us a format such as 5 times 5 or something like that. And once we get that, we strip it, we split it, and then multiply those two numbers, and then we give that. So basically, that is it. Our API is up and running. So all we have to do is basically run this API. Now, we will run this API in a debug mode. So we say if name is equal to main, all we need to do is to app.run, put it in a debug, if I can spell debug, and then put it as true. Alright, so here we are done. Believe it or not, we are done. Our API is up and running. Alright, now we need to do is basically run this API. So we run the server API, run that, okay, boom, loading is up and running. Now you can click on this to go to our API, Boom, it's up and running, and we have our hello world, which is the um, first resource hello world that it goes. Alright, now what we can do is to basically try out this other endpoint. So we can go and try the times 5 endpoint. So if I copy that and go and I go to that and I say what do you want to times by 5? You want to times 7 times 5. And if we do that, we get sure enough 35. That's the answer. Alright. And we can also try the other endpoint, which is the multiply. So I can spell multiply. So and what we want to multiply, we want to multiply 7 by 99. Alright. We do that, sure enough, get our answer. So our API is up and running, and that's basically it. You can either do it like this, and I've also written a client code that can also do that from request. So you can also do the same thing from request. So here from the request one, I'll be showing how to post data from the request. Obviously, you can use the get data, you can also use the post data. So from the post data, let's say you want to post hello world, and if we run the client, and sure enough, we sent hello world, and it also gives us that send data hello world, which is basically what this is doing, this post one. We just send it and we also receive the same thing. Alright, that's it for now. I hope that was intuitive. If you want to know more about Flask, you can basically go to flask.this. If you search Flask, you quick start with Flask, and then you basically see everything there. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks, guys.